All right, so good morning. And so we just need a couple of blocks today, and we are going to start with the block under the shoulders in Supta Baddha Konasana. And let's block. And remember, it's always a possibility to do this lying flat without the block. And you can use a second block for under your head. This is also sometimes called a heart bench. And taking your time, getting settled in. No need to rush. Gently easing your neck out. Maybe a second block under the head if you feel like you need that. Nice big inhale and long exhale. Melting over the block, letting go of resistance. Sometimes it can feel, especially I think in this shape, first thing in the class, it really feels like your body's resisting that stretching and opening, and that what is needed is a letting go, allowing that block to hold you, allowing gravity to hold you. And then as that physical body feels a little more comfortably settled in, bringing your attention even more to the breath. Letting the inhale expand the upper chest and stretch between the ribs a little more. Exhale, melting off the block. And all those little subtle changes that happen through your body as we stay here in this shape, breathing. All sorts of micro adjustments happen. Maybe even some macro adjustments happen sometimes. Not just in our body, sometimes it's in our mind, in our feelings as well. And then let's slide those legs out to straight, reaching through the feet to point the toes or flex the feet either one, stretching the arms up overhead. And then as gently as possible, making your way up off the block. And here we are, sitting in Sukhasana with the crossed legs, using those arms alongside, lengthening up, feeling space coming between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets. Whatever little shifting and squinging you want to do. And letting the hands rest on the knees. Inhale and exhale, softening and closing your eyes. Bring your attention even more inside yourself. Finding the balance of effort and ease. Maybe a little more strength and lift through the core. Maybe a gentle drawing the shoulder blades down and back. And softening the face, the jaw, down the sides of the neck, off the tops of the shoulders. Making sure you're not making so much effort there through the center, through the core, that it's impeding those deep and easeful breaths. And opening the eyes, reaching out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. Let's breathe the arms up and breathing them down. And let's do that twice. More big lift up, shoulder blades engaged on the back, connecting those arms to the center, taking up lots of space. You know what? Let's do two more. Everything expands. Everything expands inward and then hands on the knees, lifting the upper chest up, and we'll take a few ripples, reaching forward through the upper chest, and very deliberately drawing the abdominal muscles in to unfurl that spine vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up through the lift of the upper chest. And we'll ripple forward and back a few more times like that, going on your own timing. You can continue moving very slowly and gently and mindfully, or maybe speeding up a little bit. Keeping that breath going, flowing through the spine. And we'll finish up with this in the next couple of breaths. And back up to sitting, arriving back up on top of your sitting bones. Inhale and exhale. Just pausing a moment, arriving in this moment. And then just short-term memory test about which leg is in front. We'll slide the legs out to straight and Dandasana. And coming forward and over any amount. Big yawn of the whole back of the leg along the floor. Try to lift up out of those hip joints. Think of reaching long and making more space as we extend over, not crushing into yourself. And then up, really pressing down through the thighs, standing on the feet, maybe putting a little bend in the knees if you're having trouble keeping the spine vertical. If you're falling way back here, just bend the knees so you can get a little more vertical for this part as we breathe out through the arms and interlock the fingers. Give the elbows a pull, pressing up, grounding down. As much of a right angle as you can. And releasing the arms, and then we will change the cross of the legs. And let's ripple the other direction. So holding on to the knees. So you can always change where your hands are. They can hold on, they can be on the floor, maybe on the inner thighs. As we round back, and if you can, rocking way back off your sitting bones across the tailbone there. And then diving forward and coming up, leading with the upper chest to bring yourself up. And then contracting all the way from the base of the spine to the top of the head. Curling forward and lifting up. We'll do that a few more times, going on your own timing, using your own range of motion here. You feel the whole spine participating, even though different parts might have more flexibility. And we'll do this a few more times. And then after you've done 2 or 3 more ripples, we'll just let ourselves pour out into the forward bend. So if you need a few more ripples, go ahead. And as you're ready, just sliding those hands out into the forward bend. Big round breaths across the back of the body. You're feeling that energy still rippling there through the spine. And then coming up, one more unfurl of the spine here, arriving up on top of the sitting bones. Inhale and exhale. And then let's come up in downward facing dog. So this is going to be pretty much of a low, slow flow, gentle vinyasa here today. You feel like you need to add a little more fieriness to things, you can always throw in high lunges or extra vinyasas and all of that. Meanwhile, here we are, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana and walking the dog. Anything else you want to do? And then finishing with whatever you're doing. And here we are in our best downward facing dog of this moment. Just feeling your breath again. Of course, coming down onto all fours or into child's pose if you need to. All right, and let's come forward to the plank. Long and flat against the ceiling. Remember, don't let this become an endurance and or survival exercise. Back off, take a little break for a moment as needed. And there's always time to catch up if you need to. Maybe we just don't need to hold the plank that long sometimes. And then we'll bend the knees like we're about to go on all fours, but keeping those shins hovering above the floor in the beast. Really pull up in the abdominal muscles a little more. And then we'll ever so gratefully set those knees down. And keeping your weight a little back away, or pull your weight back away from the hands as we go into that cow back preparatory to going to do the Namaste, our knees chest turn. But just linger here a moment, letting the wrist joints stretch out and have a little break. All right, and then soften the elbows, bringing the upper chest forward and down, and slithering out to the small cobra, squeezing the elbows in and back, and lengthening down long through the top of the head, long through the feet. 3 more small cobras. Lengthening up, lengthening down. Using more back muscles than push with hands. You know what? I think we'll do 2 more small cobras. That seems to be a theme today. 2 more, whatever number I said. And 1 and 2. And then going through that indulgent cobra, little cat cow ripple, and roll back in downward facing dog. Let's lift our right leg up, reaching long through the heel. Bending the knee of the dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. And we'll ease that left knee down and Jayasana. Inhaling up the front, exhale, pouring down the back. And we'll circle those arms all the way around and back up overhead. Namaste in front. And let's step forward. Into the concave back. And folding over. Taking 3 deep breaths here in the forward bend. Coming up to standing, carrying yourself up, either extending up or rolling up. Big front body yawn. Pressing the arms down long through the top of the head. And let's circle the shoulders. 3, 2, 1. Other direction. 1. One more front to the back. Interlocking the fingers, lengthening up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And coming forward and over. And release the hands. The concave back. Folding over, stepping back with the left leg, so we're in our right lunge. We're going to twist to the right, to the left, to the left into a side angle. Bringing your arms inside the leg, right arm against the right leg. You have your hand on the floor, holding your ankle. Maybe that right hand on a block, or bringing the elbow up on top of your thigh. Twisting up and open, and then pressing your tailbone and right outer hip toward that left side of the mat, trying to flatten yourself into one single plane. And a big reach around with that left arm. Turning to the lunge up the front, bringing that left knee down. Just take a few moments stretching into the front of the left hip here with our hands on the floor. And then we'll go to the seated goddess. Turning the right toes in, swiveling on the left knee. Maybe keeping the hands on the floor here for support, or coming down, sitting on your left heel, wedging the right arm inside the right leg. And let's sit off our left hip onto the floor and slide the right leg out to straight. So making sure your left knee is all right. You can always straighten out the left leg here if it needs, if that knee needs to be extended. And we'll come forward in the half dragonfly. The left leg bent, right leg straight. And then and let's twist to the left. Inhale and exhale. Right hand onto the right leg, headed for Parvartajana Shirsasana, reaching out with the left arm. Reaching up with the left arm. Maybe this is far enough, or whatever side bend is available today. So remember, we don't want to crush down. We want our side bend to lift up and open. A big lift through the top of the head. And then we're going to bend that right leg. So this is kind of weird, but it'll all work out. Bend the right leg and sort of scooch around, slide your left leg under the right. And we're in that Sandrasana with the right leg on top. Okay, assume we're all there by now. And here we are. We're going to take a twist to the right. Inhale, lots of space, exhale, and twist. Back to the center, and we'll do the interlocked fingers here in that Andrasana to try to press that left outer knee and thigh down, stand on your right foot. Reach your right knee for the ceiling, sitting bones for the floor. Breathing those arms up, interlock the fingers. Pressing up and grounding down. So it can sometimes be very challenging to be here, trying to press down and lengthen up. And then releasing the hands, we'll disentangle our legs, standing up onto our feet, into the forward bend. So we are still at the front of the mat. I've just switched sides for when we do the left side. And a little concave back, folding over, jumping or stepping back through the vinyasa, any version, downward facing dog. And here we all are, downward facing dog. And we'll go around on the left, lifting the left leg up. Bend the knee, dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. Let's ease that right knee down. Coming up in Jayasana. Breathing the arms around and all the way back up overhead. Namaste. And then stepping forward. Into the concave back. Folding over. Coming up to standing, big front body one. And pressing the arms down along through the top of the head. And let's circle those shoulders again. 3, 2, 1. Other direction. One more front to the back to interlock the fingers. Lengthening up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And coming forward and over, pressing away through the hands. And releasing the hands. Let's step back with the right leg. And turning that right foot down to 90 degrees as we bring the arms inside the left leg. Left arm wedges against the inside of the left leg, maybe hand on a block on the ankle. As we twist up to the right, maybe bringing that left arm up onto the thigh. Hope the sound of that siren that just went by wasn't too loud here on the video. Anyway, here we are in a side angle pose, Parsvakonasana as a twist to the right. Kind of Flatten the shoulders back towards your left side of the mat. Press the hip toward the right side of the mat, making yourself into a single plane. And then a big reach around with the right arm, turning to the lunge at the front of the mat, setting your right knee down. Just take a little easeful stretch with hands on the floor into the front of that right hip for a moment. And then seated goddess. Swivel the left foot toes in, swivel the right foot around, and whatever version of the seated goddess works for you. And then sitting off our right foot and slide that left leg out to straight into the half dragon fly. And then just making sure that right knee is all right. Maybe it just needs a little reset, possibly. And then we'll come forward and over. Inhaling and exhaling. And let's twist to the right toward our bent leg, toward the back of the mat. And then left hand onto the left leg as we reach out, reach up, and then over any amount. Keep making space, reaching long towards your left foot rather than thinking of trying to go down towards your left knee. And yep. And then this transition where we'll just bend up our left leg and then swivel around, swinging that right leg underneath it. And we're in that sandwich with the left leg on top. Let's twist to the left. Inhale, lots of space, exhale and twist. And back to the center. All right, and then making this base as strong and stable as you can. And we'll breathe the arms up and interlock the fingers, giving the elbows a pull, pressing up, rounding down, squeezing those upper arms toward the ears. Trying to press down in the left foot, press down with the sitting bones, press down with the outer right thigh and knee. And releasing the hands, we'll disentangle the legs, expanding up into a forward. And a little concave back, inhale, and exhale. And let's jump or step back through the vinyasa and eversion, downward facing dog. And here we are in this best downward facing dog of this moment. Just being here. Everything that being here means. And coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And let's slide forward onto our stomach into the Sphinx. Pulling back with the lower arm. Reaching all the way through the base of the wrist, through the knuckles, through the fingertips, tailbone to the floor. As we're holding the Sphinx, we're not going to move. But what if you feel that rippling that we were doing when we were sitting? What if somewhere inside here, with your breath, with that subtle energy, there's a little cat and cow action going on. A little more arch and stretch on the front, a little more easing on the back of the body and cow back or cow, some cow back sort of way, cat back sort of way. Probably easier to do if I don't talk about it. Feeling a little rippling. Every one of those subtle ripples, maybe subtly adjust your spine a little. And then coming down, letting the forehead or chin rest on the hands for a couple breaths. Letting the back of the body just melt over toward the floor. All right, and then let's come up again, maybe all the way up into the Sphinx, maybe taking the elbows a little wide so you're not lifted so much in the upper body, maybe even head back down on the floor. We're going to do the half bow pose where we bend one leg and get forward. So take a moment, whatever upper body position you're choosing. Settling there, reaching long through the toes. Give those legs a good squeeze together. Let's bend the left leg first. And then reaching back with the left hand for that left foot or ankle. And lengthening down the front of the left thigh and up through the foot to lift that left leg any amount. including it doesn't actually lift off the floor at all. Sometimes that's how it works out. And breathing here. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bringing that leg down. And we'll go to the other side. Getting recentered, reaching long through the toes, bending that right leg. Reaching back with the right hand for the right ankle. And then lengthening along the front of the right thigh, up through the knee and out the toes. That right leg lifts any amount. And holding 5, 4, 1 more deep breath. And then bring that right leg. And then either just a bend of both legs doing your bridge posing action into the floor, or maybe going for the full bow pose, reaching for the ankles. And coming down. Breathing, letting the sides of the back melt. And then peeling yourself up off the floor. Maybe a couple of cat and cow ripples. And there we are, downward facing dog. So if you want, you can go through a vinyasa. I'll be demonstrating the vinyasa or not, or not. Or just holding your downward facing dog, letting it be a good counter pose to that back bending we just did. All right, here we go. One more little thing, a big finish, lifting our right leg up. And bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. Through to the lunge. And let's come up in the warrior number 1, taking your time. So you can always choose not to come up in the warrior number 1. And then feeling all that back bending, we're doing this scoop down and under with the pelvis as we do a lift up and over with the upper body. And just a half circle around to Namaste. And Namaste into the floor. Stepping back up to downward facing dog. Deep breath. Let's lift our left leg. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. Coming up in the warrior number 1 left, whatever version here. Really scooping that tailbone down and under to lift the upper body up and over. And you can do all those actions with your hands still there on the floor or on blocks. every breath, renewing your presence, renewing the pose. And then breathing those arms around in a big half circle to Namaste. And Namaste into the floor. Stepping back to the, and then whatever version of the vinyasa, maybe it's going to be hold the plank, maybe it's child's pose, maybe you're already in downward facing dog. And then we will all meet up in downward facing dog. We take 3 more deep breaths here. Oh, we should take 5 since this is the +2 class. Inhale and exhale. And then come down, sitting back in child's pose. Nope, and we will come down onto the floor on our back. Ah, really feeling that wonderful moment as the earth receives your weights. You can let go after being all up there in the warrior one. Here we go. And let's figure 4 or any other similar thing that you want to do. Crossing the right leg over, reaching through the triangle, pulling the legs. And we'll switch legs. Crossing the left leg over. Reaching through the triangle, pulling those legs. And setting that down. And into Shavasana. Ah, placing your body in the position. And then letting feeling your breath. Perhaps a little deliberate effort for a few breaths to smooth things out, to reset to a longer, deeper, slower breath. And you can let go of the breath as well. Your breath is always there for you to get hold of again if you find your mind has wandered off. Using the breath like an anchor to draw you back into that quiet place inside yourself. The weight of the body is letting go and resting into the earth. The weight of your mind is letting go, resting into the wave. And then breathing back into your body, into the room. Moving the fingers and toes, circling the wrists and ankles. Stretching the arms up overhead. And the knees. And then gently making your way up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position with a long and spacious spine. Taking another moment, sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you for coming.